What's up, everybody? It's PJ the Great, your tech fanboy, and it's been a long time coming, but I finally got an unboxing. I don't know how epic this unboxing is going to be honest with you, because this is used. This is the Canon HF R600 camera. As you guys know, I have a Canon HF R700 camera that I primarily use for videos like this, unboxings and videos that I do here inside of the house. I picked this up because I needed a camera to replace that one, and the one that I'm shooting on now is my Sony camcorder. This is the one that I use for all of my video projects outside of the house, and I also use it for like vlogging. But I've been running into some issues with that camera where I was using a 64 gigabyte card, which was at like 80 Mbps, I think that's what they call it. And once I would get like 20 gigs into recording, I would start getting the error message saying this camera couldn't keep up with the memory card, or the memory card couldn't keep up with the camera. And I couldn't have that, especially when I'm working on video projects. So I know I had a lot of luck with the Canon camera that I have, my R700, but I don't want that camera to leave the house because I don't want to break it. So I picked this guy up, the 600. It's used, and from what I could see as far as the specs, the 600 and the 700, there's really not much of a difference outside of battery life and the user interface, which to say that the user interface is like highly improved on the 700 as opposed to how it looked on the 600. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this box open and see what we got. It's got the popcorn in here. Be careful, I don't want this all over the place. So the first thing I'll pull out is the little power adapter right there. It looks just like my R700 power adapter. So now I have two power adapters, hopefully. And we have here's a little mini HDMI to regular HDMI, so I can hook the camera directly up to my TV. And a little dusty. There's the camera itself. Okay, so I think that's everything that's in here. Yeah, it is. So go ahead and move that out of the way. Put my little unboxing tool there. All right, so here's the camera. It looks just like my R700, but as you can see right there, it's the 600. Hopefully you can see that. Little glare. There you go. So it is the HF R600. It looks very, very similar. Let's go ahead and open this up, and it powers on, which is a good sign. And it looks, no memory card. Okay, it looks just like the 700. And you know what, the user interface doesn't look that different. Is it a touchscreen? It is a touchscreen. Doesn't look that much different. Now let's take a look at this camera side by side with my 700. This is why I'm filming on my Sony, so that you can see these guys side by side. This is the 600, this is the 700, and as you can see, they're very, very similar. You can see here the battery on the 700 is a lot bigger than it is on the 600. I read in some forums that you can actually use this battery on this camera. I don't know if you can do that vice versa, but you can use the bigger battery, the 700 battery, on the 600 to get better battery life. So that's going to be cool for me, because I'm going to need extra batteries when I'm out and about doing projects. And they pretty much look the same. I noticed that there's right here that kind of looks a little blue right there, and on the 700, on the 600 it's kind of blue, and on the 700 it's like solid black. And the user interfaces, they look similar to me for the most part, but they said that they really improved the user interface on the 700. So yeah, they look similar. So you can see that that's the 700's user interface, and this is the 600's user interface. Another thing that I noticed here, as you can see with the battery life, this is the 600. As you can see right here, it appears to be fully charged, and hopefully you can see that it shows I have 88 minutes of video that I can shoot at a full charge. I'm guessing that he sent this as a full charge, and I have 119 minutes of video that I can shoot here on the 700 because of that bigger battery. So I bought a couple of accessories for this camera. This is going to be on my on-the-go camera. Let's get into that and show you the accessories that I picked up. Here are the accessories that I picked up. Extra batteries. So I got 2 extra batteries here and a wall charger. Picked these up on eBay, the same place where I picked up the camera, for like $38 for 2 batteries and a charger. And I picked up this guy here. This is a Pixtor SanDisk 64 gigabyte card, and I noticed something about this card. The reason why I picked this up because I have an Extreme SanDisk that looks just like this, and I got this for only $15. I thought this was a pretty good deal. I was like, whoa, because I paid like $35 for the 32 gigabyte one, but I noticed a little difference. I want to show that to you. So here's the 2 cards next to each other. As I said, I thought, you know, they were the same. Just this one here, 64, this is 32. But as you can see, the SanDisk Extreme has 90 MBS, and this Pixtor SanDisk Refurb only is at MBS. I mean 80 80 MBS. So that's kind of interesting that they look similar, and I don't even know what the Pixtor, what the story is on that, but I don't know, as long as it works. So let's go ahead and put the memory card in this thing here. Put my Pixtor SanDisk in there, and tells me I have 4 hours worth of video recording. It's set on auto mode, and of course you can do your own settings on here, but if you're not that savvy, or if you don't want to bother with picking the perfect setting for the perfect situation, you can just go ahead and set this on auto and let the camera do all the work for you. Depending on the situation with me, I'll put it on auto, or if I know I'm in extreme low light situations in the house, I'll put it on the setting for that. You see you have all your different settings in there that you can set it to. It's on auto now. You got baby mode, you have auto, you have cinema, you have program AE, and you have scene. And then this camera also allows you to shoot in MP4 format, or you could shoot in AVC HD. The camera that I'm on now, the Sony, does it simultaneously. You can either do AVC HD, or you can do AVC HD and MP4 simultaneously. I do AVC HD because the quality is much better, but the files are a little bit harder for me to work with in Final Cut Pro 10. So the one thing I'm looking forward to with this, I think that, I mean, the quality on the 700 at MP4 is like great. So being able to use MP4 instead of AVC HD on this and get pretty good quality is going to be a win-win for me. So then you have on your settings section here, you have different settings like other settings, recording setup, auto, which we already talked about for the shooting mode, and then we have main functions, So they said that the user interface, they really improved it on the 700 from the 600, but to be honest with you, I don't really see that much of a difference, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it looks the same to me. I don't see a difference at all. I want to make sure that I format this card. So I go to initialize. I'm just gonna go back and show you this. See the user interface, if you're familiar with the 700. If not, go and check out my video I did on the Canon Vixia HF R700. The user interface pretty much looks exactly the same. So I don't know what the real improvement is. I'm gonna go and take this thing out and do a little field test so you guys can see what it looks like. All right, guys. Okay, out at the park now. I'm gonna do some test footage on this camera so you can see what the quality looks like. All right, let's get it back home, check out the footage. Okay guys, we're back at home after that test footage with the Canon Vixia HF R600, and I looked at the footage and it looks really good. I mean, it looks comparable to this Sony that I'm shooting on now outdoors, and it's comparable to the 700 Canon that I have when I use it outdoors, like in my backyard and things like that. So I think this is a pretty good pickup. I picked this up used for $155 from a private seller on eBay, and I see a lot of places they're still selling this camera for like $200. I even see some places selling it for like $250, and the same place is selling the 700 for like $199. So why this one is warranting a higher price tag with this company than the 700, I have yet to figure out, because the quality seems to be just the same. The 700 definitely doesn't look like a downgrade, and to be honest with you, the 700 really doesn't look like an upgrade, because just from this brief moment of using it, I really can't tell the difference between this 600 and my 700. Okay. 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 And just to wrap this video up, here's the two cameras next to one another. The 600s here, the 700s here. You can tell the difference only by the battery, and then like I said, this like bluish on the bezel, this black here on the 700. I'm really happy thus far with this purchase. They seem like identical cameras with the exception of the battery life, but I took a look at a couple of forums and I could slide this 700 battery onto the 600 camera and get longer battery life. Plus I picked up these additional batteries here so that when I'm out doing my video projects now using this camera as opposed to that Sony, I'll be able to get through projects without any issues with the battery. But you know, that's yet to be seen. I've got a project probably next weekend where I'll be able to test that out, because I've been taking the Sony along with 2 extra batteries, and that's been getting me through an entire day, which consists of anywhere around 5 to maybe 6 hours of video footage. We'll see if I can get that much out of this one and 2 additional batteries, and just to be safe I'll bring the battery from my 700 that doesn't leave the house so that I have 3 batteries to work with. That's all I got for you right now. Thank you guys for coming along for the ride. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hey! Don't forget to push that subscribe button.
Push the button.
And until the next tech review, this is PJ the Great signing out. Audi 5000G. And deuces. They truly look like the exact same cameras. It's just crazy. With the exception of that battery. They're pretty much the same camera. And I've confirmed that these are the same chargers. So now I have an extra charger. Pretty cool.